There's a study that by 2030, up to 30% of the jobs will be replaced by AI and automation. That's up to 800 million jobs will be gone in a heartbeat. And I don't know, and this is where I kind of get off into the weeds with stuff. There was a study done by intelligent.com in December 2023, and they asked 800 employers, what's the hardest part about hiring kids out of college and high school? 53% couldn't make eye contact for a job interview. 21% turned off their camera for a virtual interview.
It's the worst.
Yeah. And it's not their fault. Like, they were raised with this device, right? My daughter is 8. She has a tablet. And the problem with this device is it gave the illusion of perfection. I can take the perfect selfie over and over again. It's not like when we grew up, I took a picture, we sent off to Eckerd's or Fox Photo, got it back in 2 weeks. It looked like crap. It had red eyes. So even my daughter will be like, I don't like that picture, delete it. When they're sending text messages and emails, what can you do? I can take the time to craft the perfect message. Now I can put it in Chat GPT and put it back in here. And then we give them real life situations and they go into paralysis mode. So they say that the current, let's just say 19-year-old, is their fear of having a live conversation that can't be rehearsed and can't be perfected is as scary as being on stage in front of 1,000 people. Because that's not what they've grown up with. They've grown up with the ability to perfect things versus you and I grew up. I had to walk to the store. I had to ask for what I wanted. I had to talk to humans to get everything I needed in life. The phone rang. You just picked it up and said hello. Didn't know who it was. Couldn't decide, do I want to answer it or not? Now they can get on. You can order dates, dinner, Amazon, whatever you want, and never have to talk to another person.
Yeah, social interaction is so lost. I mean, we had to ask our friends to come out and play from the time we were 5 years old.
Yes.
We would go to our neighbor's house and say, can Michael come out and play today? And you would get them at different moods. I saw a comedian talk about this the other day. He was like, you could shape the whole way that you responded based on how they answered the door. And then if you said, why can't he come out? And your friend would be in the back going, why did he ask that question? No, I'm definitely never coming out. Like there were so many things you were paying attention to when we were growing up.
Yes. And they just don't have that. And my daughter has a tablet. I'm not anti-technology. Matter of fact, the cool thing about it is she was over here the other day and she was playing with a game with her cousin that lives in another state, versus we got on our bikes and we pedaled to somebody's house to go play the Atari together in a room. They're just doing that geographically apart.
Yeah.
But even we were talking about this. I was talking with somebody earlier today. Like, it's strange to me that kids are so comfortable with scooters and not so much with bikes. Because for me, a bike was freedom, right? Like, the minute I had training wheels off a bike and I could go somewhere, I was no longer geographically tied to a few houses away. Now I did it, like in junior high, skateboards became the thing, right? Back then. But before that, a bicycle equated to freedom. Everywhere I went was on the bicycle. And kids now don't want to bicycle. They want to scooter. And it's fine, but it just means you get less territory. We also, grew up where
work to some extent. Remember,
Yes.
it's when things are easy. I dropped my son off about 2 miles, 1.5 miles off this morning. And I said, you could really just ride the bike up here. I mean, it's one road, sidewalks everywhere, great bike path. Like, why don't you just take the bike and you're not relying on me? Go when you want to go, have the freedom. Like, he's a month from driving. So he's like, nah, I'm good. Just drop me off, Dad. It's super hot out there. I don't need to ride. I'm already going to be working out enough. So, but it's so funny to me because, to your point, I wanted that freedom.
Yes.
I looked for freedom. They actually see freedom in the technology. We saw freedom in truly escaping our environment.
Yes. In order to expand our geography, we had to leave where we were. This takes them anywhere in the world.
Right.
By the way, congratulations that your son even wants to get his license, because that same study, they said 19% of parents brought their kids to interviews because kids don't even want to get a driver's license this day and age. They're like, I'll just take Uber, or just mom or dad will drop me off.
Yeah. I mean, look, it is intriguing. If you drive a lot, and I drive a lot, it is intriguing that Tesla has the ability to now drive you, and these autonomous vehicles. I am certain I like to drive, but man, when you're on the road all the time, sometimes I'm like, man, if I could just hit a button and it could take me where I want to go, that is so awesome.
Well, because you could work, you could go to
Yeah,
sleep,
you
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 name
get
it.
stuff done. You get more.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the biggest problems we have with technology is we're so productive. My buddy was talking to me the other morning. We were having a cup of coffee, and he goes, you know, I'll never forget at one of my friends is the wine buyer for a major country club, and they order all these magazines, and
Mhm.
so once every 6 months she gives me like 10 travel and leisure type magazines of places to look at. And he's like, I still geek out over reading and looking at these things, and I'm thinking the same thing. I bought a travel and leisure magazine, and I'm like, isn't it funny how I like to I can Google this, you could TikTok it,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day there's just something about our generation that likes to look and feel at something, and it validates it and, makes it so interesting. Yeah, Men's Health.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those listening, he's holding up a Jalen Hurts cover Men's Health magazine, which just feels good to hold in your hand.
Yes. And part of that is kinesthetic people. So we talked earlier, like some people are auditory, some people are visual. So why do you do the podcast in both where people can see it or people can listen? Because you get two audiences when you're there. And then the third type of way that people learn is kinesthetic. They're hands-on learners. They want to touch and hold something. So when you go to a trade show and you have the little squeezy balls, they're walking over, they're grabbing the squeezy balls. My daughter's pretty kinesthetic in that she loves to be doing stuff with her hands. So she plays with the kinetic sand, she plays with slime. That's the way she does. And then after that, she's auditory. Then third, she's visual. So she will play a video game while listening to music while doing something else. It's kind of funny to just see how people learn and how people do things. And that's where you learn to gamify it is you want to learn to be like, how do I speak Scott's language?
If you like clips like this, I have a similar clip here. And if you want to watch the full video, click here.